for the PokerNerd videos and saying they have them a lot. So I thought, look, that's pretty good motivation to start the stream and start putting some more, well, just piling up the content on this PokerNerd VIP channel. We're doing okay here. We've got 29k. We're 21 of 92 in the big 33. Doing okay there. Did win a flip before, so that was good. It's been, as you know, pretty tough. Well, particularly the last 2 to 3 sessions have been some of them as brutal. I've had, I think consistently, since my hard drive died in the middle of W Coop, and I came back. And I haven't been running well. Sorry guys, I was just reading about this guy here. It's been chatting. We've just been chatting a bit. This Kiwi, New Zealander. Could 3-bet bottom left. I think we're a little bit early. I've got to make it about 420. It's a decent chunk of my stack. The 6 players behind. He has 3x'd it. Bottom right. Are we not near the money, are we? No. Okay. Just thinking if there's any reason not to jam, but I certainly can't think of one. We've only got M3.5 and we've got King Queen suited, so it would have been better if it wasn't UTG, but what are you going to do when you get this short? There's always a chance too that Mark or this Yud guy get in there and we cover those guys. There's also always a chance that we win a flip. Queen ball? Queen. Aya. Nope. It was a pretty kind of a bit demotivated, guys, to be honest. It was a bit, I wouldn't say demoralized, but just was running so epically bad the other day. And the couple of times I did have chances, I wouldn't say botched it, but I did make a couple of small mistakes at bad times. Particularly when I didn't donk lead. I was talking about that last session with the 6-7 on the 9-7-5 flop. Final table bubble of the Sunday starter. I think we could probably get away with calling 3x here. Both pretty deep. We've got the suited hand, the connected hand. There's also an all-in player, which shouldn't really have any effect because the side pot is the majority of. I mean, the center pot's pretty small, the middle pot, so. But sometimes it does have a bit of an impact on players for some reason. Think there's an all-in player, there should be more checking, but Jack Queen suited, obviously calling. This is this guy Woftum. He's M5 and he's just flattered, which is a little bit concerning. He is pretty good. Used to be a bit of a fish. That's why I've got him in the fish color, but he's improved a lot. I expect he's trapping here a fair bit. This guy is a pretty big fish. So he could actually be over c-betting on this board. So what I'll just do is slam in the beans here, and there's a decent chance he c-bet folds, but even if he calls, I mean, we've got a good hand. I mean, even if he's got like, holy shit. I know I said he's a bit of a fish, but come on. You have like 3 outs or something. That's getting in with pretty darn good equity. I kind of want to. I kind of want to squeeze. I kind of want to three bet this guy. I think. I think I will. 14. Well, interesting spot here. A few interesting spots. What is it? Guess I'm gonna 3, 6, 7. I guess I just I guess I'll just get it in top left. It's probably slightly bad, but nice there with the king 8 to get that one. Yeah, I mean it's probably slightly loose with the ace kick, but wow, this guy's put us to the test. Probably, I would like to have had a few more seconds there to think about it. That's for sure. Yeah, I would have called, to be honest. I would have called. I think we need to call there with that hand. Definitely. There's a bad fold. It's not an epic. I mean, I'm not going to cry about it. It's not a huge fold, bad fold, but we don't have that many better hands there. Once we 3-bet 2, looks kind of 3-betty pre, and then when he 4-bets us, it's pretty polarized. You know, he's trying to rep, obviously, aces, kings, queens, ace, king, ace, queen, stuff like that. So I just don't believe him, though, because of the notes I've got on him. Says he's a bit of a fish, so I think he could easily spaz out and do some crazy shit. And we just don't have enough better hands. I mean, we probably have aces as a trap, kings as a trap, queens. I probably play them the same way. We have ace queen, probably king queens. Yeah, probably king queen as well. Sometimes I'll 3-bet call with it, I guess, in that spot. So I guess we do have. Yeah, I mean, I guess we do have a few queens and big pairs, but I think jacks is about where I'm like, you know, tens jacks is about where I'm just like, I think we're just gonna call, and then because we have a lot of other stuff, you know, we have a lot of like ace x suited and suited connectors, and we have a lot of smaller pairs and stuff, jacks, tens, nines, maybe eights. I don't know, I might sometimes flat with the middling pairs, but I think what it all really boils down to is the opponent type in that spot. Against a tight player, it's a pretty easy fold. And against a loose guy like this Sergi guy, I've got him marked as the fish color. I think it's a pretty easy call. Because I wouldn't be surprised if he just rolls, you know, like, I think he's probably going to definitely barrel ace king. He could have ace 10. He could even just be overplaying like nines, you know, from the note that I've got on him. Seems possible. Not really doing things the conventional way and pot controlling with, like, you know, when there's an overcard on board or anything like that. I think I might actually call with the queen 9 suited, given the odds here. I might go for a check raise bottom left. I'll see what sizings they choose here. I will 3-bet bottom right. And I think probably just call with the king jack. I think I'm going to... Yeah, I think I will bet with the 2s. I'm betting here for a couple of reasons. I guess we can't... I mean, such an awkward kind of stack size here. Awkward stack size to check raise, actually. I think I might let it go. So when I call in the big 11 here, it's really... wow, he just shoves? Really? Just shoves. It's a bounty builder 82. I think I'm going to fold it. It's a bit annoying when he just shoves. If I had to guess, I would say he's got something like king 10. And he's just like, whatevs, you know, I got top pair up and down. So I'm just going to rip it. Guess. Gonna fold the bottom pair there. This guy's 3-bet 9s. He's got M 13. He's 3x'd. I'm gonna call and probably call flop. And if he shoves turn, probably give it up. It's a really bad card, that queen. This thing is a card that even if he's like hasn't got it, he's probably gonna bluff a lot. Like even if he's got like ace 10 or ace king, he's probably gonna drop the hammer on that card because it's such a good bluff card for him. I think we just have to fold now. Should have it. I mean, you should just have it a lot of the time, I guess. Could be pulling one past us, but I don't think against UTG there. Pretty close to the bubble. 62 get paid, 75 left. I don't know if a guy's going to go too crazy 3xing there. Yeah. I haven't noticed him doing anything too crazy. Got our friend Clutch Hero sitting on our right in the Bounty Builder 82. One of my fellow coaches at Poker Training JP, which is Japan, the only basically poker training site in Japan. 20, 39. This is pretty close. I think I will go for the 3-bet here. Yeah. I don't know anything about this guy. I mean, I probably should have checked to see what he's up to, you know, on Sharkscope. That is not what I wanted to see. The initial opener snap folded, so does seem like he could have been on the white side. I think this guy is pretty aggressive. Obviously, I'm not going to call though. I think this guy's pretty good. It's obviously a good spot for him. It's a pretty good spot for him to jam. It's a bit of a losing player, that guy. FK got. Yeah. Losing player. Down the 10k lifetime. Played a lot of tournaments. Average buy-in 20, so it's decent volume. I wonder how he makes a living. Probably lives with his mum. Good spot, top left. Yeah, I guess I'll just 3-bet this in. I don't love it, but I mean, I don't. Yeah, I mean, I just think it has to be done. I mean, yeah. I mean, I don't love it because I don't think, but I could be wrong. Well, I mean, I guess he can, but I don't think he can raise, I don't think he's going to raise too wide into the shorts behind. It's kind of a bad, well, I guess it's not a bad configuration of stacks, but Just thinking, like, he's got a couple of big stacks on his left, but then he's also got a couple of short stacks that might jam him. It seems like it's not the best spot to raise. Pretty good spot to flat here. I'm getting massive odds, and if one of these guys here jams and he folds, that's pretty good for us. Damn, we run ace king into ace queen there. Ace jack into ace king. Blind versus blind, that's a bit unlucky. Obviously, I guess not going to get too creative on that board. Manaseric. Menaseric. Men ace rec. Men ace rec. I don't know. How do you say it? Our Kiwi friend sitting on our right here in the Big 11. And we have Cowboys. This is a $27 PKO, so it's absolutely perfect. Because we have the chance to get the knockout, and not only that, there's always a chance that one of these guys just completely spazzes out and turns into a jellyfish, and just decides that we're just isolating to get the bounty, and they're going to have none of it. And they're going to also get it in, because they know they can get the bounty. Or they could just have aces. I mean, that's the other thing you could do. You could just have aces. That's one option. When you snapped it in that fast, I'm like, don't tell me. Do not do it. Do not do it again, please. Yeah, that's nasty. Nasty stuff. And I was saying it was perfect. It would have been perfect if he didn't have aces. That was the part that kind of ruined it. I guess. What do we got? 7 and 60 is 130. This is kind of a crap spot, but I think we just go for it. It's pretty gross, but I mean, we're so short. I don't think it's ever that bad. We got a backdoor straight. We could sometimes be against, I guess, like ace king, ace queen, or just like a flush draw. But most of the time, he's just gonna have us pretty crushed. But I think we're so short. I mean, okay, we're just against high cards, so that's good. I'm a little bit surprised he had that hand just because of the speed of which he jacked it up. But I guess he's just a bounty lover. Which they usually are, so we can expect to see all sorts of madness in the bounties if it's just so profitable playing them. Ace jack against kings. Ace bolt. There it is. Right on the break. Good timing, my man. Yoink. You got it. He's alive. You can enjoy the stream a little bit longer. I'll report on any hands if any interesting hands if you get them. Actually, I'll review your hand later with the jack queen. We'll talk about that hand after the break. Bring it up actually. We'll be talking about this hand after the break, ace 4 against jack queen. But for now, 5-minute break. Be right back, guys. Okay, Menace Rec. I like it. I'm quite dyslexic with names, obviously. Yeah, Jack Queen off, suited here. I think calling seems pretty fine. S04 suited, calling seems pretty fine. The initial opener C-bets. I think calling is probably your only option here. I mean, you could raise to thin out the field, I guess, but you know, you're the guy who's c-bet into 4 players is probably over c-betting like a fish. You know, if he's got ace king here, he's probably c-betting, which is pretty donkish. He should just be, I think, just checking that hand because it's 4-way. There's going to be a lot of king jacks, ace jacks, flush draws, set possibilities. So I would just be, if I'm him, just giving up. But I guess he might have something like nines and just think, well, you know, there's so many bad turn cards I have to bet. Maybe everyone folds or I get, you know, heads up and then at least I have a chance to win. If I check, there's always going to be a bad turn card. There's so many players in, you know, there's 8 other cards in play, so any turn card virtually is bad, other than if I hit my 9, if I've got, you know, if he's got pocket 9s. So that's possible, I guess. So we call with Jack Queen, we call with the flush draw. We could raise here, but I mean, we've got a backdoor straight working with the nut flush as well. Occasionally, this Menace Rex, you know, occasionally you've got a flush draw there as well, like Queen 10 of spades or something, King 10 of spades. So I guess if we raise the flop, there's some worse draws that we could get it in against, but he could also sometimes be trapping with sets, have 6s or something. There's no guarantee that we fold a jack. This guy's bet into the field. He still could have an overpair. He could have ace jack. Menace Rec could have, yeah, some jack X combos. So I think calling is okay. We go to the turn. This is where it gets a bit weird. I think Menace here is kind of thinking, well, he's checked now. The initial opener's checked. I could have the best hand and I can protect my equity by betting against draws. If I guess that's what you're thinking. I don't hate that logic, but I think you're probably better off checking. It's very possible that this guy was over c-betting with ace X. He could have had the ace. You're almost turning your hand into a bluff. Like if this guy's got queens and c-bet, like he's in a pretty tough spot now. We still could sometimes have a set, but we at least have, you know, we at least have jack X. We have a pretty strong range here because we've overcalled. With c-bet and a call when there's a player behind. So we pretty much have a flush draw or jack X or a set. I think you're probably better off checking here. And just trying to get to the show and just trying to get to the showdown at this point. Is probably the best way to play it. Occasionally you're against this sort of hand where you're really crushed. And then when it gets to the river and you check. I mean, if you shove there, I've actually got a pretty tough spot. I'm in a pretty tough spot because you could have 6s or ace jack. But I think I probably would have called. Just because there's 2 flushes on board. You know, there's the hearts and the spades. And yeah, I mean, I think 3,000 into 4.5k is probably, I'm probably going to be priced in. Especially the way I've hit my hand, it's kind of pretty well disguised, I guess. Shouldn't have that many aces. So if you had have checked river, I would have bet. I would have probably have bet the turn if you checked, but actually no, I probably would have checked it, to be honest. Wow, this is an interesting spot with 4s. 25. I'd like to have a little bit more time to think about it. I don't mind just ripping it there. It's a pretty big rip. It does look like he's 3-betting pretty wide there. The only problem with ripping it is that we've only got half the guy's stack, and it's the bubble. 62 get paid, and there's 64 left. So, kind of it's bit nasty when, you know, he's just got jacks and snaps and, you know, we just don't get paid. But having said that, it's not like we're sitting there with like 4 bigs trying to hang on. You know, we're at this stage when we have this sort of stack, we're kind of gunning for the win. You know, we're 20 of 64, so above average. I don't feel as dirty busting, you know, with this sort of stack as opposed to if I have a really small stack and bust and didn't quite hang on. Because this sort of stack, you know, you want to run deep and go for it more than when you have a short stack and you just want to hang on and try and make the money. Queens here. So yeah, if you had have checked her turn, I probably would have checked back for deception and just gone for one, because I'm not going to get 2 streets of value with ace-4 unless I hit my flush. So I probably check 411, 409, guess. Yeah, so and then if you check river, I would bet and try and get a jack to call. So you probably actually didn't cost yourself that much more anyway if you're going to call a river bet, I guess. And you probably have to, I guess, if the turn checks through. So that's the good news, I guess. Yeah, so probably check turn and then decide river if you check and I bet. It's probably a bit cleaner. So we get a 3-bet bottom left gets called and we flop a flush draw, which is obviously pretty nice. The SPR is such that it's 1.5, and I'm a little bit concerned about this guy's cold call, but, you know, he could just be a fish and just have something like king, queen, ace, jack. So I think just shoving is probably the best play here. Make it straight up here. I'm just going to lead it. Uh, 25. You've limped and M25. I think. Yeah, actually, I think I will 3x it. A little bit awkward here if Menace Rec check raises. He does. He goes for it. And it's a kind of, it looks pretty strong, this sizing. It feels to me quite value-ish. Feels like a limp with like ace queen. But I do think he, well, I don't know. Do you have bluffs in your range in this spot? I'm not sure. I mean, we're getting better than 2-1 to peel. The SBR is going to be pretty bad post, but I might actually just peel here. Obviously, just going broke now. A bit thin bottom left, but not when you hit a queen. I think I have to call. It's a 3-minute delay on the stream. I have to call before it catches up and you can see my cards. Obviously, I'm just going to flat here. You know, we've got top pair, flush draw. Hopefully you don't have queens, sir. Or jacks. I think, to be honest, if I had to put you on a hand, I'd put you on ace jack, ace king, something like that. But we're not folding, getting these odds. I don't think you're ever bluffing though, are you? But we just have to call, so I think I just have to give you some chips here. But I'm pretty sure you're going to show me ace jack or ace king, aren't you? I'm trying to think of what bluffs you can have that would just play crazy like this. I guess maybe like king 5 of clubs, but you don't seem like that sort of player. Or like 5-7. I guess I have to call, but I feel like I'm just giving you chips. Oh, you do have the queens. Nasty. Nice hand. Nice hand. Nice turn. Nice turn. So nasty. I presume you're not going to fold to a flop bet anyway. Oh, that was a nice hand. Nice limp. That's part of the reason why I was a little bit hesitant to Probably a little bit hesitant to 3x you there, because it's very awkward when you know when you do that. So that's why I almost, yeah, at that stack size it's really awkward. So I don't normally ISO at that stack size. And that's definitely a hand that I think sometimes I would ISO, but a lot of the times I would just check. But I think ace-7, ace-8, ace-9 suited around that. I think ace-10 plus is a pretty easy 3x, king, queen, king, jack. All those hands where you're going to call with, you might limp call queen 9. I mean, not you specifically, menace rec, but players in general who have a limping strategy in that spot. I'd imagine it would contain a lot of broadways, 10 jack off, a lot of suited connectors. So against that range, ace-7 suited isn't doing that well. It's doing, I think, in position though, just well enough to go ahead and sometimes 3x it. Yeah. I don't think if I do opt to 3x, I don't quite think that I can fold to your raise, getting like over 2-1. Yeah, I think it's pretty close. If I knew your game in detail, maybe I could make better decisions. If I just presume you're a really tight player, I could probably make a few adjustments. You did say to me that you're going to play very tight. So maybe, and it seemed like you were just being honest. So if I just go off that, maybe I can fold the ace-7 there. But it's pretty hard getting just over 2-1 in position with the suited hand there. Yeah. I mean, it was kind of unfortunate the way it worked out, obviously. They have the ace and the queen flop. But this isn't unfortunate down here with the third nuts. It's kind of a little bit annoying to have the jack. Just because we're blocking more flushes. We're also blocking the fourth nuts. I think I'm going to check raise here. Please shove, shell. Oh, wow. Just trying to work out if it's better to raise or... I think I'm just going to rip it. I mean, it's a bounty, so one of these... This guy might call on a draw. If he's got like ace-10 with ace of clubs, he might call because he can get a bounty if he hits. Don't have the nuts, please. All right. Well, that's pretty annoying. It's pretty annoying. At least we didn't bust, I guess. Can't we just hold there and get the bounty? I want the bounty. I love bounties. I guess I'll bet here with the 10 jack. It's kind of close. I mean, I could bet a 7 or a 9 in this spot. It looks probably a little bit bluffy to my opponent because he's like, hey, you didn't raise the pre-flop, so you don't have an ace. So he might call light here. I'll go ahead and shove now that we've made this straight in the river, and hopefully he makes a light call and we get, or he's trapping and we get the knockout. He probably just says king high. Snap the turn like he was angry. There's emotional players like, oh, you don't have an ace, I call. You're not bluffing me. Yeah, that was annoying, that flush hand. The other guy, did make the light call that we thought he might make for the bounty. He called with 9s with a club, which is pretty borderline. But I think he probably does have to call with it. Yeah, just what you just said there about Menace Rec was just saying with queens, he probably doesn't have enough bluffs in his range. And so therefore we could probably make the adjustment of folding some of our worse 3x's. And in reality, Ace 7 suited is probably the worst of my value raises. A lot of my raises though will actually contain, you know, some bluffs. Like I might raise you there with like 9-3 suited, for example. I would probably raise you. I'd probably raise you with like Jack 2 off. There'd be some of those weaker hands that I'd probably raise you with. Yeah. And so for you probably, what you would probably want to do is have some of your worst limps and put that, not, I would say I would probably use, sorry guys, I just got all these tables going on, but if I was you and I was trying to build like a bluffing range there, I would probably use the best of my worst hands, if that makes sense. So I wouldn't use my complete trash, but I would use slightly like the best of the trashy hands that still sometimes, you know, can make something kind of thing. So what hands do I mean? Well, for example, if you limped with, let's say you limped with Queen 8 off, well, that's I guess a possibility, but I would go for more something like if you limped with like 4-5 suited, or I think I'll keep betting against this guy here. He's got a lot of, well, he's gonna have a lot of like King 10, 10 Jack. He could have 8, 9, but you know that's just gonna be bad luck if he does. Gonna go pretty big here on the double flush board. He has check jammed for 630. I don't think we can fold now. Hopefully he's got Jack Queen. He might have the same hand. Could have Ace 10, 10 Jack, King Jack, I guess. Does have the 8, 9. It's pretty sick. Just limp calling the old 8, 9 suited from early. That's kind of annoying, and we flop top pair. I don't think there's too much we can do with that stack. If I had a different stack size, we could do some different things, but yeah. Not too much we can do there. I mean, I don't think he has 8, 9 off, you know, so he's got like 4 combos of 8, 9 suited that occasionally he wakes up with. Double flush board, lots of draws, could have a queen, could have a 10. King Jack, maybe the Jack 9 suited, Ace Jack, maybe picked up a draw as well. I don't think there's too much we can do. Maybe occasionally trapped with aces, I guess. But yeah, just bad luck really, bad flop. So going back to what I was saying about your limping range, yeah, maybe like you don't want to limp fold, you don't want to limp raise 9, 10 suited, right? So that's definitely a hand that you want to limp call with. So that's like one of your best limping hands. Limp calling hands. So but Queen 8's kind of crappy, but not complete trash. Or maybe a hand like if you limped with like 10, 6 suited. That's a hand that's kind of crappy, but not complete trash. These are the hands that, some of those hands I might throw in into a bluffing range. Wow. Okay, so in this spot, I would say bottom middle here. We're not that polarized when we bet. We could have a 7x, 10x, 4x. We can also have some draws. I think I'm going to go pretty big here. I think if he's got a diamond, he's always going to call. I guess in this spot, like he doesn't have that many 7s, but he could. It's just kind of bad luck. I could see him sometimes heroing here. Because we pretty polarized now when we bet. If he's got a 7, it's just bad luck. But I think if he's got ace high, I could see him heroing it and thinking, you know, if he's got like ace 8 with the ace of diamonds, or wow, he jams. Has he really got 10s or a 7? I mean, I don't think we're folding. It's just annoying. I guess he's just got like, how does he have a 7? Ace 7? Really? Maybe he's got 10s. I mean, ace 7, so sick. So sick, these 3 outers. 2 outers even. It's pretty annoying. I think we have to bluff this hand. And we'd probably go large here, actually. I don't know how often it works, but the truth is I don't have that many bluffs in this spot. Like I would check a lot of like high cards for like ace highs and stuff for showdown. This is probably my worst. 7-8 maybe. I think 7-8 and 7-9 suited I have in this spot. I probably use them as bluffs. I think I'm gonna check jam this guy top. Am I? Yeah, I think I will. I feel like we could run into it again, but he could level himself and think we had 10 jack and call here with like 2 pairs. He does fold. If he's folding, if he's folding a hand like, if he's bet folding like ace queen and stuff, or ace 9 or something like that, it's probably he's probably just bluffing. But that's probably a bad raise if he's folding hands that strong. But I don't think against a big blind a Russian's going to fold there. Yeah, that was a bit annoying. At least we're in the money. But running into the ace 7 there was kind of sick. I'm like, the only hand I think we lose to is 10s and ace 7 because, like, I don't think he's going to check that flop with 7-8, 7-9, right? He's just going to c-bet. If he's got like jack 7, he's just going to c-bet on 10-4-4. The only hand I think he checks back is ace 7 because that's the hand that has showdown, that doesn't really want to get check raised, but, you know, has decent showdown on a 10-4-4 board. So I'm like, well, he doesn't have many 7s. I think only ace 7. So he either has ace 7 or 10s for value. And our range is so polarized when we turn bet river. Like we pretty much have, well, I think in our opponent's mind, I mean, in reality, I might sometimes, I guess, bet a 10 for value as well. But in our opponent's mind, I think they're thinking, well, this guy is trying to rep a 4 or a 7, but he could have, you know, 4-6, 5-6, 6-8, 8-9, jack 9, miss diamonds. So I think he would, occasionally I wouldn't be surprised if an opponent bluffs that river, you know. And when he doesn't, he's got 10s or ace 7. So I don't think there's much we can do. I think I overpot this river here on the top left. Don't have that many. Well, I guess I do have a bit of value there. Just thinking, when I get to the river and then bet, I mean, I bet the turn a lot in that spot with most of my one pair hands. I think I might, yeah, I guess I'll see bet here. I think I was toying with the idea of checking back, but I mean, this players seem to call so wide though, you know. I mean, I could see him calling this flop, this player calling this flop with like king jack and stuff. It's a pretty good card to barrel on. I'd be barreling here anyway with most of my range if I bet flop. They've gone ahead and check raised, so essentially saying they have a 10, I guess. Can we hold, please? Would you? All right. So I'm just going to call because they could be bluffing, you know. I might have just floated with like jack queen of, you know, clubs. They could sometimes have a worse 10, I guess, but if they do have a 10, it's probably going to be like queen 10, I guess. They could have 9, 10, or 8, 10 as well, I guess. Same hand. Oh, if this wasn't a bounty builder, I would probably jam this hand, but we just don't get folds because it's a bounty builder. Fold equity denied. Flopping a pair denied. But king 9 off 3-betting. I'll wait. I think queen 10 in the bottom right. I think we're probably just going to check. Probably prefer to bluff. I mean, I'm probably going to be bluffing some like 3-4, 4-6, 6-3 spade combos. We start bluffing stuff like this, I think we're just bluffing way too much. Going to call in the bottom middle here. Getting 21 to 1 implieds here with the twos. And, you know, it's a small blind squeeze, so it looks pretty nutty. Interestingly, when he checks. Pretty quick check. This guy bets pretty quick and pretty big, so I think I'm going to fold. Just the likelihood of him having a hand like 8-0 is pretty high, I think. Could just be taking a crazy stab with, you know, king jack of clubs, but the speculation, you know, speculating pre getting the odds we were getting was pretty profitable, and we want to be careful about messing around post flop and, you know, donking a whole lot of chips in situations like that, or we kind of blow the implied odds and make a whole lot of negative implied odds. So what I've done top left here is limp with ace-5 suited because the big blind has only got 2 bigs. So if it goes like limp, limp, and then he jams, we get the option to ISO jam, which is always nice, especially when, you know, they come in with anything. If they think they have the chance, we got the knockout. We finally got a knockout. Finally got some joy. $6. There's a couple of ice creams. I think I'll bet big enough bottom left to set this up for a river jam. This is a weird hand, bottom right. This guy limped pre, and I called, and now he bets flop, and now he checks turn. I think we're in pretty good shape here when he checks, so I'm gonna bet. I think we are. Oops, folded there. Should have called. Hopefully he's got like queen 10 and you just check jams. Or some spaz hand. I don't mind squeezing bottom left here. Wow. I guess I'm going to bet pretty big here. Don't have that much value here in this spot, like a 3x and probably 2 pairs. But I also have a lot of bluffs, you know. I have a lot of like jack 9 of clubs and stuff like that. Obviously, this is the ideal spot. I don't want to lose him, but I think getting it in on the turn is the way to go. It's possible he folds a 3, but extremely unlikely. With the double flush draw board especially. It's so sick. I'm like, does he really have 3-6? I'm like, it kind of looks like 3-6, yeah. I'm like, really? I thought he might have like 3x of like flush draw, you know, and he's like, I'm free rolling, I've got the flush draw. It's pretty sick. But yeah, on that turn, I'm going to have a lot of flush draws I'm betting with, trying to rep a 3, especially once the flop checks through. So even though, yeah, so I have a fair few bluffs. So I think betting big is probably the way to go. I don't have tons of value. And obviously, you know, sometimes we run into a 3x or they call on a draw and that sort of thing, and we're doing okay with the nuts, obviously. I think I will bet the 8s here. Sometimes I'll check it. I think against a big blind range, 8s is it's a decent hand to bet with. Those hands benefit greatly from picking the pot up on the flop before the board develops. If you ever play around in like a PIO solver or G-Torb, they're usually like pairs to bet a lot on the flop, especially smaller pairs that, you know, it's really good for them to pick the pot up straight away on the flop. I guess sometimes he's got aces. Let's hide his cards and sweat it. What do you think he has? I'm going to reveal it slowly. Could it be ace king? Oh my god. Ace 10. Wow. You can never, ever quite rule out the banana factor. Wow, this is a pretty sick spot here. I guess he's going to have a lot of like Jack 9, King 10. I guess he's calling. I'm going to bet this much. King 10? No, I don't feel like he even has that good, to be honest. Yeah, he just had a 9. He had Queen 9. Oh, come on, 10s. 10 ball. 10 ball one time. Oh my god, hold. Oh my, we got there. We both had a straight. I'm so used to losing all ends. I'm like, no, not. I'm like, not again. No, we're just not running good, but we got the 80%er over the line, so that's good. If you're wondering what this is, it's a satellite to the Super Tuesday. And if you're wondering why my tables are doing weird things, because I'm using stack and tile. And if you're wondering why this guy just ripped for like 300 big blinds, I have no idea. Is the answer. Just rip 300 big blinds and we do not cover him. Even if we covered him, I'm probably not going to call here. Like, I saw a guy do this the other day with aces. I'm just going to fold. Yes, we have ace king, but it's like, we've raised the 150, a guy's just ripped 10k. Like, I don't think he's going to have ace jack. Unless he, yeah, I mean, there's some players I would call there that just, you know, if I've been observing and I've seen some guy just like rip like pocket deuces the hand before or something for 10k, I might call, but I think normally in that spot, I used to do it a long time ago. I would just overjam because there's always some fish that can't control himself and he has to call. You know, I always say it's like a chocolate in the ocean. There's a guy on the boat and he sees a chocolate in the ocean. He loves sweets. He just dives in to get it. And then once he's in there later, he realizes he can't swim. He just drowns. Got his chocolate at least, but died. The same sort of thing, especially in bounties. They just call with anything. And then they realize, well, actually, maybe I shouldn't have called all in with like King 4 there, you know, for like 60 bigs. Just to try to win like a quarter of a buy-in or something. Think about it later and they're like, oh, that probably wasn't a good idea. That probably wasn't that smart. It seemed like a good idea at the time. pretty close here with nines. We do block some draws, but I think getting the price that we're getting, I'm going to call it. I think I will. Maybe okay to fold it. Because we're blocking like queen 9 and some 9x and stuff. Probably a good option. I mean, it's probably a hand that I probably should have folded it, but really depends. I think players are overstabbing there in that situation. Hopefully this guy's overstabbing pot. We now have triple nines with a straight draw and he's all in. Give us your bounty, sir. All right. We held that time. Nice. $17 for that one. Nice. Buy lunch with that. I will 3-bet here. And below, so here, 3, 4, 5, 6. Wow, this is really close, isn't it? Wow, that's like right on. Oh my god. We would have flopped the nuts. And Jacks would have called. Don't say it's true. But we get aces, so I feel better. It's really close just because of the bounty factor. We get a call. But we're going to have a lot of queen x, 9x. Hopefully it doesn't have 7, 8. That would be pretty disgusting. Or 5, 6. Or 6, 9. Got a bad feeling. I've got a pretty bad feeling here, guys. Wow, he's calling in. Don't do the flush on us, please. Do we go for thin value here? I think we do. Gonna look pretty bluffy, I think. I could see him hero calling here with queen x. Or 9x. Alright, nice one. God, I feel like we got the maximum. 3 fairly chunky streets. Always good to get the max. See what he had? I know someone's curious. Queen 3 of clubs he had. So he picked up a flush draw on the turn. And he did hero call down. Fairly hero-ish considering the sizing of our bets and the fact that we went 3 streets. But, you know, it does look a bit bluffy on the king. I think actually his hand selection for calling is not bad. Like, he doesn't block any, like, 7-10, 8-10. I mean, there's a lot gets there, though, so it's a pretty close one for him. I think he could be sizing with one pair. We just happen to have the ace balls. I think I'm just going to raise call off here, actually, to be honest, with queen 9. I think it's normally a fold, but I mean, it's normally a fold to a jam, but in a knockout, I think that hand's okay to call with. I don't even mind just shoving it. Problem with just shoving it is like we're just going to close out a lot of like if he's got like ace deuce or pocket twos or like 10 jack suited, he might fold to a shove but jam a raise. And they're all hands that we have really good equity against, so it's probably better just to raise it. Make sure I bring this in because it's a hyper and my brain's a bit slow at the moment, guys. I think it's because of the couple of back-to-back 14-hour sessions. Today I started a bit late, played some Splatoon, went to the driving range. My youngest daughter burned her hand in the morning. My wife was using the hair straightener. I don't know how it happens. It always seems to happen. Something always seems to happen with my wife, but she somehow the youngest daughter got her hand on the straightener. Of course, the hair straightener is really hot. That's how it gets the hair. She was putting her hair a special style. Mind you, she's only 3 years old. But anyway, she burned her hand, so she took the day off kinder. So I took my daughter in the morning to the golf range, and we had a hit of some balls. She was doing pretty well actually for a 3-year-old. We went to the coffee shop, played a bit of Splatoon, came into the office, grind time. So nice relaxing start to the day, not like yesterday. And the day before was just like wake up, roll out of bed, start grinding. Register for like 75 tournaments I played yesterday, I think it was. So. Pretty hardcore. Not going quite so hardcore today. I didn't want to burn out. Feeling a bit tired, so yeah, pretty close top left, I guess. I mean, we have backdoor flush. You could wow, really? Oh man. Hold, please. I can't look. Oh yes. All right. I couldn't bear to look. We did have I mean, he doesn't have that many outs. We had a queen of spades as well. I'm all in. Ace 3 ISO here against the short stack to get the bounty. Ace? No. No. Why does it keep happening? Why? Why? Just catching up on the chat, guys. I apologize for not conversing. Find it hard with all the tables. Following the chat as well. I've got tables off to the sides, obviously, as well. And just bring them in. This is like lining them up, you know. Check through flop. Yeah, I think that's just probably one of our better hands to bet with. I'm going to go over pot here. And then I'm going to smash the river. Super Smash Brothers. Unless he jams like 8k on us, and then I'm going to fold. I think we've got a really good hand there to use as a bluff. Because we don't block flush draws that might call. We can still make a top pair or nuts. There's some lower straight draws with the 8 as well. Ace 8 might call. No one's bet flop. So if we're constructing our range there, we probably want to have, we're going to have some trips, some full houses. We're going to have some 10x. And we need to find some bluffs. And I think that hand is not a bad hand to have on as a bluff there. I think I will squeeze here. I'm going to go 609. I think this is a pretty standard play here. Ace 10 off is not particularly strong. We're against a hijack. This guy just keeps jamming. I almost feel like we have to call. I think he's just a maniac. I'm just checking the history to see if like there's any jams that any hands that he actually. Where's the previous? Is there any hands that were actually? I'm just checking. There's been no massive pots. There's been no actual all-in calls. As a only the one was like we had 3-6 and the other guy had 3-6. I'm just checking the history. Ah, that's annoying. I guess we have to fold. I guess we have to fold, but it's like he's been all in too much now, you know? Like it can't just be hands all the time. I think he's just got like king queen suited and he's just like, all right, I'm all in. Probably because he covers us too, you know? Probably like, well, I cover as well. I'm jamming. Maybe he's got like sixes, you know? I saw that the other day. A guy ripped like that with deuces in a knockout. I had ace king and he held. I was suicidal. It was like just lost 8 all-ins in a row, and then I have some guy jamming. It was like a hero called with ace king. It was kind of like before when it was super deep. It was virtually a hero with ace king. We were that deep, and he had deuces. I just puked. Yeah. I have been streaming. I think it was 14 hours, maybe longer, 15 hours, maybe yesterday, 14. And then the day before that was like about 14 as well. A couple of big sessions back after my hard drive died in the middle of WCOOP. And as I was saying at the start of the stream, haven't been running that good since my hard drive died. And I've got to go to the dentist on Thursday, which is, I consider that also run bad. But I do have a toothache, unfortunately. I will go for the 3-bet bottom right, and I think I'm going to check raise top middle here. It's pretty close. Go either way with it. Yeah, I mean, it's okay. We put pressure on his stack. We got some backdoors. See if we can beat sixes. Come on, let us win one. Queen. Oh my God. Just let us win a flip, please. It's been so hard to win flips. So we end up getting there with the backdoor flush. I don't know if this is a value or not, actually, to be honest. I think it might be, but I'm not sure. I mean, you could just have the nuts. I tried to actually... Wow, 16, 32, and ace 40. I tried to actually jam that river, but I timed out. 36, 40. This is really close. Damn. Oh, I thought we were going to get there. Yeah, that was pretty close, bottom right. Obviously, if it's not a bounty, you can just fold, but... What do you have, like M7 and a bit? 8? Yeah, I think we have to call. I think it's a call and a bounty. That's probably actually a good hand to look at. Good hand to review. Use the trusty bounty calculator that I have. Yeah, let's go 600, 700. Yeah, so I was going to jam the 10 of spades for value there. And let's see if he would have called. He had Jack Queen, so he probably would have folded a Jack. It would have been a pretty sick hero. Call. Oh my God. Ace ball. Oh my God. Please. Please make it stop. Man. This Jack against 8-10. Come on. Make it stop. I need some stream run good, guys. Focus your energy. Kind of weird this guy's check raise. Since we blocked the nuts. I mean, he could have 6-7 or a set, but we do block 4-5. So I think a lot of the time he's going to have 8-9 or 4-8 or 9-10. It would be a pretty sick overplay if he's got like 4-6. So, and stuff like that, I think he's more inclined to call. The big one as well is clubs. So I think I'm just going to get it in, to be honest. It's a bit deep for it, but because of a set, we got outs, but we don't hit. Still had 6 outs, 12%. He's pretty polarized there. He's in the big blind, so he's got all combinations of clubs and like draws. If it had been UTG, different story, you know. Or I mean, like if he had a called from middle, now he's going to be a bit more like, you know, set heavy because he's going to have more pairs. But to run into like pairs in the big blind there is kind of unlucky because he can have all manner of like draws. Like he can have like 4-8. He can have obviously 9-10 and all that stuff. So all combinations. So if we're thinking about combinations of hands he might play that way, presuming he's not a super passive dude, which most of them aren't. You know, he only has a few combos of 3s, a few combos of 6s and 7s. And so if he does that with like, let's say he does that with an up and down draw, like he's already more likely to have an up and down draw than a set just from combinatorics, you know. And that's just one lot of up and down draws, you know. There's all manner of up and down draws and flush draws and everything, so kind of unlucky, I think. Don't mind the way we played it. This ace-10 here is it's really close. I don't think we can fold it. The question is, how do we want to play it? Do we want to just raise with it, or do we want to jam it? We only have M5. It's kind of close, actually. I mean, yeah, it's kind of close. I don't mind playing it this way. Just sort of mini balling. I feel like he's going to have like... What is he going to have? It's kind of weird. I was going to say, he might have 3s. Like, I was thinking 3s. He's got deuces. I was going to say, maybe he's just called with a small pair. I think I'd... I know I should do it with this one as well. The queen here is a really bad card. And the jack is just the icing on the cake. He's 3-bet us on the button, so I think he's got a pretty wide range. Like, he can have, like, king jack, I think king 10. He might have some, like, 9-10s and stuff like that. Come on, please win a flip, please. Pray. Oh, he had clubs. He was still live. It was the wrong queen to hit. And we have kings now. All right, come on. What is this, bounty builder 82? Do we cover anyone? So it feels good to win a flip. It's like a Swedish massage or something. I don't know. Ooh. It feels good. It feels good winning flips. See what Shell V80 wants to do. Come on, Shell. Make a play. Jam. Look at our delicious bounty. You jam that. Limped. Okay, we shall 3x. This time it's not A7 suited, it's the Cowboys. I snap folds, are you serious? Don't do that. It's going to check raise this board. 4-5-7 with king 7. Unfortunately, it went check. Now he bets. Not really any reason to raise here. I mean, well, no. Wow, that's interesting. I think I'm going to actually try and fold him out here. Might shove. Oh, so sick. You think he has a 9? I think he I think he has a 9. It's pretty conceivable that we could have a 9 when we check call turn. Pretty ballsy if he doesn't have a 9. I think it's a bit suicidal, to be honest. You're better off just calling for a chop than jamming. Donking your whole stack when you're wrong and the guy has a 9. Fold him off a split, I mean. That is it. Another level. Kind of brutal, but we're still alive in the Bounty Builder 82, which is always fun. Yeah. What was I going to say? What was the interesting hand we had before? Fives. Oh, the fives. Yeah, the fives. I think we played okay. Trying to think of another hand. I can't think now. But yeah, certainly a lot of action going on. A lot of interesting hands there. So hopefully you guys have got something out of it. That's what I was going to do. I was going to catch up on some chat. Mark was saying I do limp 100% of my range. Small blind. Post Andy though. Okay. Not enough limp raise bluffs. Limp raise queen 9 off. Yeah, you could do that. Queen 9 is actually probably not too bad to call though. That's probably getting kind of strong. Especially if I'm raising a7 suited, you probably want to call like queen 9. Probably be better off like limp raising like queen 3 suited or something like that. That's a little bit more crashy. Or like 9-6 suited or 6-10 suited, maybe 4-6 suited or something. Suited small connectors are really good to raise, I think, in that spot. Like if you limped with like 7-8 off or 6-7 off, they'd be good hands. They'd be really good hands to limp raise. Because if I do call, they can sometimes flop, give you a little bit of equity to play with. At the same time, they don't play, calling out a position against a raise. They don't really play that well. Probably turn them into 4-5 suited and stuff. Yeah. To answer your question about staking, yeah, I mean, there's quite a few. So if you just search them all, you tried the biggest ones, obviously. Another one that I've had dealings with is the poker backers, the pokerbackers.com. Check that one as well. But yeah, it looks like you don't have enough volume. So I would just say hit it hard, try and get some volume up. And then when you've got, a few thousand tournaments behind you, just try and keep a solid ROI. And then you shouldn't have any problem getting staking. I don't know what they're looking for, to be honest. But I think if you've got an ROI of over like 10% and decent volume, I wouldn't see any reason why they wouldn't stake you. I mean, most of the staking companies get to keep your VPPs as well, so they get more out of it than just 5% ROI. At least initially anyway. You can always negotiate after a while if you've been putting in good enough volume and doing well for them. But yeah, just stick with it, mate, and just put in some volume and just keep your ROI solid. And keep studying as well. Balance play with study. I'll be right back. Short break. I'm just going to mute the mic, guys, while I finish this sandwich. Have a bit of a coffee as well. Been good, Chris, by the way. How you been, mate? How's your game been? Been playing much? This could get ugly here with Jack Queen suited. Nope. Oh man, come on. How does a small blind not jam? This jolly guy's a massive fish. He's like an old school reg that just like never improved. He just plays the same way. I think I'm going to call, obviously. Jack Queen suited. We're getting almost 3-1. He's a bit of a fish. We don't flop anything. He's going to fold. We're going to try to win a flip. We do. Little tiny one, but I'll take it. Flop top 2 pair. Could this be? Could this be true? Could this be the start of some run good? I'm going to call this 3-bet here. We're not going to call that jam though. Might go for a squeeze here, actually. I'll let it go. It's pretty close. I think this Ernest guy opens kind of wide, and this guy's just called from, flatted from cutoff. Excuse me, guys. I had this happen a couple of times yesterday where I was cutting out. Like, if this wasn't a knockout, I would definitely, excuse me, I would definitely squeeze there. But I just think they call a little bit too wide. Just feel like we don't get the fold equity we want. And if we're squeezing king 8 off, like we're squeezing pretty wide. I mean, we're squeezing a lot, but I don't mind that spot. Top right's interesting. Like, I was kind of torn between flatting and 3-betting. I feel like this hand might play slightly better as a 3-bet. Because we get for some folds like that, which is always pretty good. This time I will squeeze with the ace-king. Especially because I could be squeezing pretty wide in that spot. On the button. Get a snap call. From junglist to man. We get a pretty sweet flop. Come on, people. What are we dodging? Can you just have ace-jack, please? Like, can someone just have, like, ace-10 of spades or something? Like, is that alright? Am I asking for too much? Or are we just gonna have to fade, like, the whole deck again? Like, is someone really gonna have 8-9 of hearts? It's never easy. Who's got the 8-9 hearts? Who's got the set of 5s? Come on. That's 1 gone. That's 2 gone, alright. King queen here. Committed. Flipping. Oh my god. Heart. Alright. Baby. Oh, that's actually, that's what I was just thinking actually. It's 3 minutes until the rebuy period ends. I don't think we need the rebuy, the add-on, I should say. Structure. 10,000 chip add-on. 10,000 chip add-on. Do we want 10,000 chips? But it will effectively double the buy-in of the tournament for us. I don't think we do, to be honest. I think it's bad for EV taking the add-on in these. I think it might be bad. Doesn't seem right to me from a strategical standpoint. Spending like another buy-in to get like M1.5 extra. It just doesn't sit well with me at all. I know it would be handy to have that extra 10k, but I mean, think of it this way, right? Very hard to kind of model that sort of problem. But sometimes you can think about these things in ways that perhaps make sense. Simplify them. Think about it like this. What would you rather do? Oh, hang on. I think I have to jam King 7. Close your eyes. All right, we got it through. Good. I thought he might call really wide for the knockout. I'm sure he would have. Can we isolate this guy with King 2, 3, 4, 5, 6? What's he got? 3, 4, 5, 6. He's got M2.5. Only the minimum bounty. I think we just fold, I guess. Not quite good enough. Still 2 players behind, and I think I'll 3-bet here. I was going to say, this 3-bet I think looks really nutty. Neck break's a good reg, and he's open UTG 2.5. I think this looks pretty nutty. Calling with it wouldn't be the worst, but I don't mind turning these hands into 3-bets. These, I mean, it's not a marginal hand, but when you consider you're against UTG, it's kind of marginal. I think getting the pot heads up with a hand like this, and I mean, neck break's not a nit, so. Doesn't have to have a really strong hand UTG. The other thing this does, like, if he's got ace queen, even ace king, sometimes I think he just flats. Doesn't. He might raise that in a hand now because it's a flat behind from some donk. So he probably does. But if it's like heads up and he's got ace king, a lot of the time I think he doesn't even like re-raise. Oh, all right. But he had the big tamale burger. And twos, that's what I thought. I thought the other guy was just being a massive donkey. When you see a guy cold call a 3-bet and it's like UTG and mid, like, you can pretty much automatically assume massive fish. Because, like, if you think about the range of hands that should flat a 3-bet compared to the likely flatting range of a donkey's going to flat all pairs and, like, suited connectors and, like, king, queen and ace, jack off and stuff like that. There's so many combos of that as opposed to what should be flatting there, which is probably, like, like tens or, like, ace, queen suited, stuff like that maybe. Just more likely is just a donk on a mission to donk. A donk on a mission to donk. Oh, I was just about to explain my theory on why we shouldn't add on, and I had my auto add on. I just forgot to switch it off. I was just looking at it thinking, I have to switch that off. I didn't. However, I didn't. Ace queen. Flip. Club. Oh, running. Running okay. King jack. Queen 9. Calls the 3-bet out of position with the old queen 9. Let's say he limp called, didn't he? Limp called the queen 9. Love to see it. Limp called queen 9 off. Love to play online pokers. But going back to what I was saying about that add-on, imagine that it costs a buy-in to add on, right? So imagine we can either play this tournament and add on, or we can use our one buy-in to play the tournament again later. I think we'd be better off playing the tournament again later, right? We'd be better off having 2 shots at the tournament than 1 shot and taking an add-on that only gives us M1.5. I would assume. So I think I'm just going to jam this. We might get some folds. Hopefully he doesn't call with like ace queen. That'd be kind of annoying. I feel like the stack size is pretty good to get a fold. Like just enough. Yep, nice. If it was any shorter, like we're probably not getting folds. Notice that while it was munching before and the mic was off, that guy did jam 2s. Only the disgusting thing about the guy we said we thought was a fish in the 44 knockout here. The disgusting thing is that he over jammed 2s and he didn't even cover the other guy. The other guy knocked him out and got his bounty with, what do you have? I don't know. Jacks or something. Does this guy really have a jack? Or does he have a missed flush draw? Does he have 3-4 suited? He has a missed flush draw. I don't really like his play there. I mean, just check call with your flush and then, I mean, I guess sometimes we're stabbing with a weaker flush, but not really the way that hand played out, I think. King Jack. Ace deuce doesn't hold on the flop. Didn't even get a chop. This is a good spot to jam. Oh, we got him crushed. We have got you. Holy shit, you got a flush. Come on. Really? Don't do it. Just let us hold those. It's pretty much for a seat. Pretty close. We would have been like chip leader with 14 left. 4 entries. Sucks. That sucks. This is really weird, this spot with A7. I'm not sure what to do with it. I think I'm going to raise with it. And if this guy jams here, I'm probably going to fold. I think this is a really tough spot because they're also short, you know, like they've only got like, everyone's got like M2.5. Wow, it's kind of makes it easier for us to fold, I guess, but it's like, yeah. Neck break. Oh. I'll fold that one. That's another close one. Could go either way. It's funny, you know, you imagine like if you have A7 and it has a PN, A7 off of 22. Well, technically you could have 11 players behind you with all M2. This is kind of like a weird sort of way of looking at it. You could have 11 players behind you all with M2 and you could still jam A7. Hypothetically, kind of like, I mean, obviously it's unrealistic, but because of the number of players, but also just because, well, I guess against all M2s, like you're always going to have the right odds with A7 because of the blinds, because they're so short anyway. That's what I was thinking, is like we've got this hand that has this pretty good pan, and then all these short stacks behind. I don't think it can ever be bad to just raise call off. The other two important points I think to consider in a spot like that, I wouldn't mind, sorry guys, I'll come back to that. I wouldn't mind sometimes 3xing 8-10 suited just for board coverage, but I think I'm just going to check it and flop the nuts. And a nut draw. Come on, let's win some pots here against these regs. We've got Tonaldino, who's a really good reg. We've got Mr. Neckbreaker. Come on, Neckbreak, what are you going to do to us? All. Probably have a lot of value in this spot. Not a ton of bluffs, so I'm not going to bet too big. Just under half pot. I would bet Jack X, 9x, 7x. My bluffs are going to be like King 8, 6 8, Queen 8, some hands like that. It's kind of weird. I guess I'm just going to bet an amount where I think Jack X will call, or the occasional trap, if he's tried to trap with like queens or something weird. Aces. Pretty unlikely, but hey, you could have backed into a flush once in a while, but I mean, we aren't folding a straight. He could have, I guess, like Jack 6 of diamonds, or he might even bet that on the turn though, but probably not. I think he'd probably induce bluffs with it. I mean, he's going to put us on a 9, obviously, you know, that's what he's going to be thinking. Is okay, aces up can have a 10, he can have a 9x. Could be value betting a jack. What's he bluffing with? Some 8x and 6-8 and all that sort of stuff. I think if he's got a jack, he calls. I think if he's got a 9, I mean, very unlikely he would play a 9 that way, but he calls. And if he's got the 7, he probably calls. I think the price that we laid him when he's getting 3-1, I think that's probably about where he'd be pretty indifferent with like bottom pair. He knows that we're probably not betting bottom pair for value, so we're either bluffing or, you know, it's just a bluff catcher. going back to what I was saying to before, what was I talking about? The the A7. Yeah, the two important things in that situation when you're opening is the pot odds that are going to be created with the dead money out there. So the blinds and antes make it pretty juicy for us. Like even if someone's got tens, it's probably all right for us to have A7 off, especially after we raise. I mean, then we obviously have to call. Because the dead money out there is just like, even if they show us tens, we're getting the right price. And the other thing to consider is that when a player has M2.5, they're pretty desperate. So they're not really going to be that selective with their hands. Even though we've opened UTG into the shorts, they're not going to be like, oh, I've got King 10 here. I think I'm going to wait. I think they're just going to jam it in. If they've got twos, they're going to jam it in. If they've got ace 5 suited, they're just going to jam it in. So their range tends to get a little bit wider. So A7 is going to be and have better equity against their range because they're that short. And then you also get good pot odds. So I think we're supposed to open that hand. I think against a 3x here with fives, I think it's really close actually. I think I might jam it. But I think it's pretty borderline. But if we get folds, it's brilliant. That's why I jammed it. Like I felt like he could fold to us because we've got a decent stack. And if he's folding, then it's obviously awesome. It's just 4, 4, 8, 12, 20. Yeah, if we're getting folds, I mean, that's brilliant. Probably got like Queen 10 off and maybe Ace 3 and you just 3x's folds. It's always good to get a 3x to fold because you just get so much dead money. So this guy just rips here. He's got M10. We do get a knockout if we get him. But unless he's a huge donk, which he isn't, I think I'm going to fold this hand. Yeah, I mean, it's so close. We don't actually cover that many players on the table, so I don't actually mind making a bit of a loose call in that spot. If we like cover the whole table, like it's really bad to go short. Because then we miss out on getting our chance to get bounties, but the thing is, the thing there that was in the back of my mind is I had the exact same situation yesterday and I called and he had aces. This is like literally exactly the same. He might have been a fraction shorter. He might have had like a 9.5. And he jammed. I'm pretty sure it was UTG versus big blind, like exactly the same. And I'm pretty sure the small blind flatted, it was literally the same. And I called with King Queen and he had aces. And I was like, damn. And then I was short. And I was like, now everybody covers us. We don't cover anyone. Like, we've still got a pretty good stack here. So, we got M20. King 2. 2 ball. Oh, man. I think we have to call that. He's only got like M3 and we get the knockout. I'm doing all right against his range with King 2, except when he's got King 9. Can we just win one? Can we just get lucky? Come on. One time. One time. A little bit of luck. I think I might go for a check raise here. I think players overstab in this spot, especially recreational players. Like they just see a check and just auto bet. The check raise has a... Oh my god, come on, 5. Take the 9. So he did just snap fold, so he's probably just stabbing with garbage, you know. I think that's the point, is that they just have like 6 high and they just see a check and bet. And they just do it too frequently. So you can get extra aggressive dead money in the pot by checking to them. The other thing is too that if he does value bet, like if he does have a queen, he's not folding, and if he's got a jack and decides to bet it, a lot of the times in that spot, they're just their brain explodes. When they see a check raise on the flop after you've raised pre or limped, Their brain literally, like, it explodes. It's not pretty. So they're capable, even without anything, you know. I think I will. King 10 suited, I think, is strong enough that I'm going to 3x ISO and not fold to a shove. You can't 3x this hand at this stack depth and then fold to a shove. It's just too gross. If he's trapped you, he's trapped you. But you could have like 7s or deuces or ace-4. Come on, 10s. I think he's got 7s, 6s. He's got 6s. Oh my god, it's a flip. Keep it low. 2. All right. So tricky, isn't it? He has a gut shot as well. We got the ladies. We have the ladies. This is going to look pretty nutty, this 3-bet, but not much we can do about it. The reason it's going to look nutty is because we've just put in like half the big blind stack. We obviously don't have 8-2 off. But Tonaldito might think that we're still capable of doing it wide with like ace-x. A hand that has some raw equity against the big blind if we do have to get it in, but is essentially a 3-bet bluff against the button steal. I think we can jam M4 here with Jack 9 suited. It is a jam anyway, but there's... Oh, we don't... Do we cover... Oh my god, we don't cover the small blind. That sucks. This is sort of that double-edged sword where we probably get called wide because people want to get our knockout, but at the same time that increases our equity and we do need to get chips. So as long as they're not calling with like... I don't know actually, 10-jack probably does call, eh? King 9 probably calls as well. Queen 9 probably everything that dominates its calls actually. But they might call with like ace deuce or king 5 suited or something just to try and get knockouts. So we're in okay shape. I might even call with like, I mean the big blind probably calls with like 6-8 suited there probably to get bounties, I guess. The rebuy I was talking about before, in case you missed it, Mark, was it was a satellite $16.50 satellite to the 215 by tournament that's on starts shortly, or may have just started actually. And it was a turbo, and you only get 10k, which would have been like 5 bigs or something. So it didn't seem worth it to just get 5 big blinds for an extra buy-in. It was the one that was on the top left before that we busted when we lost King Jack to King 10. King Queen suited? Alright, come on. This is good because we cover this guy from India. We cover the big blind, so we've got a couple of bounty shots as well. Ace Queen against Ace Queen. Oh, we get one of the shorts in. This is going to create a frenzy now. This is going to create an absolute... Oh my god, please. Not this time. Oh my god, please. Put it down. Oh my god, no. Oh my god. How does this happen? How does this happen? Just let the best hand hold up one time. This is bounties we're talking about. That's $20. You can buy a meal with that. Man. Just can't get out of this rut. Can't get the best hand to win. We just lost King Jack to King 10, and then it was King Queen to King 10. And it's for bounties. It's so annoying. It's been like that for like, since the middle of WCoop, since my hard drive. I blame my hard drive. Everything was going nicely. Hard drive died, came in, couldn't even get the PC to turn on. And everything's been downhill since then. Got a dentist appointment Thursday. Not running good. Have to go all in with the... Oh my god, this is a really good spot for us, bottom right. This is so lucky. The small blind is all in. So we can actually win a bounty. With an M2 stack, we can still win a... Did he just flat it? This guy just flatted. It's all in. We have to call. Chop. This has got this hand has gone mental for the bounties. Come on, flush. Heart ball. Put the hearts down. Ace, heart. Oh, come on, 7. Oh, no. How does he get to hold with 9s? Why can't we get a hold one day? That's too sick. How do people hold in that spot? Teach me. How do they get a hold? Oh, man, it's so brutal. We had so many outs. We had a lot of outs. It's our turn to bad beat someone, surely. Thank you. It is our turn, goddammit. It is our turn. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, sir, but we just lost too many pots in a row. It's our turn to win with the worst hand. Definitely our turn. Do we want to turn this hand into a bluff? I think not, but it's pretty close. Actually, probably the worst hand we get here with almost. Wonder if he folds that if we just like rip the river. What do you think? I think if we just like double pot shove river, he folds. I think he might. Good, I'd call with a queen. Close one. I'll show you the hand again. So it's a limp pot, and the guy bets half pot. We call, bets just under half pot. At this point, I'm kind of thinking we still might have the best hand, obviously. He's only a limp pot. He could just be stabbing. Sometimes I see fish just stabbing in this pot randomly with like king 10. Pretty close. If he had a bit a little bit bigger, I would have folded. But he might just be doing some silly stab. So I decided to call. And then we get this 4 on the river. It's kind of a close one. Because we don't get there with the many worse hands. In fact, this actually probably is like the nut worst hand, I think. I think I just get 9s in here. We're only 5-handed and we've got M12-ish. Got the fold, so that's good. Yeah, I mean, we actually probably don't get to river with like literally a worse hand. The problem is what do we want to bet? I mean, we don't have many bluffs, that's for sure. Not if I'm not bluffing this hand. So we have, but we don't have much value either. Do we want to bet there? Might take the free one actually. Yeah, I should have. I think I should have bluffed that. But having said that, like, there's no guarantee the guy's going to fold. Like, a fish might just have top pair and just snap there. Even if we jam, he might just snap call. He really could. Damn, he's put us to the test. Well, we do block Jack 9. I just can't see this guy bluffing here, though, honestly. Oh my god, I just cannot see this guy bluffing. Is he really going to bluff into 2 on this turn when it looks like we have what we have? The thing is we don't block Jack 9. Well, we do block Jack 9 and King Jack missed, hearts missed. This hand is probably actually better to call with than King Queen. But it just looks like he's got a 10 all day long. I think I'm going to call her. Oh my god, how does he value on us with that? That's so sick. It's like the nut worst hand we can have. And he's value bet us. He's got like literally the one hand better that we might sometimes call with Queen 9. Like Queen 8 easy fold. Queen 9 sometimes call, Jack Queen plus probably calling. So he's like value bet, like he's like the only worst hand we can have of all the hands we can have. Man, we can have all 10x's as traps and all ace queens, king queens. Occasionally we have a queen 9 we call with. Very rarely. How does he even call pre with jack queen off when we 3-bet? Cold. So gross. The thing is, I think what swayed me at the end was it's only an $11 tournament, so I'm like, you know what? This could be like some random shit going on here. You know, he might roll 4s. Yeah, I've seen it before. Quite often. I'm like, you know what? I think we have to call this hand. Probably one of the best hands. Like I said, well, I did say it's better than king queen to call with, and you know, normally it would be, but not if you got not if the guy's value betting jack queen. But he obviously just sort of doesn't really know what's going on. He's obviously just going, I have top pair, I'm betting, I have 2 pair, you know, he's not thinking at all. I mean, obviously, if he's calling 3-bets out of position, cold with jack queen off, there's obviously not a lot of thinking going on. But you know, we do block. I mean, jack 9 suited, king jack suited off. I mean, you don't really want to have jack queen there and call because like you block all of his draws, and if you got a heart, that's even worse because you block. You know, just trying to think in terms of like frequency wise, you know. Just get frequencies decent. Where are we here? We're 8 of 20. In this 11 hyper, there's like 800 up top, and we have ace 8 suited. We've got a legend and a reg, aggressive reg on the button. He folds. Okay. This guy's M10. I think I just rip here. Just rips it on us, M10. Well, you know, M8 effective. I don't think we can fold here. He could have smaller aces and some other stuff like king 9 and he might have 6-8. Oh my god, we've got him crushed, man. Come on, ace. Oh my god. How does he jam that? And how does he get there when he does jam it? How does this happen? For like 2 weeks straight. We would have been like, we would have been chip leader with 2 tables left. Some donkey decides to jam 6-8. Which he can't even jam if we have half the stack we have isn't even profitable. Even if we had half the chips we had, it's not profitable. It still jams it. Oh boy. How do we run this band? This has been like this all day, every day. For like 2 weeks. It's painful when it happens. It kind of takes the fun out of it. Because you make good decisions and you get punished. So the only thing left to do is make bad decisions and get rewarded. Not really, but it does seem to happen that way a lot, doesn't it? But that was a pretty annoying one, I gotta say. It was pretty darn annoying. It's the only tournament we're running decent in. Won a couple of hands. Just get shafted hard. Shafted hard. The other tournament we haven't been running okay in is this one that's in the bubble, the $22 here. We are in the money bubble now. Mark, yes, I did do the 2-month 40k challenge. It's all on in this VIP channel. How do we chop now with ace 10, ace jack? I hate you, poker gods. I hate you. I really do hate you. Poker gods are just punishing us. But Mark, to be honest, yeah, what was I going to say? I mean, it's kind of fun to watch, you know. I did it kind of for my own motivation, you know. I wanted to set a challenge. And I've talked about this in a couple other streams. I don't think I played my best in that challenge. I wouldn't say I played badly, but I definitely didn't play my A game for the majority of it. There were some times I was playing good, but to be honest, like I really burnt the candle at both ends hardcore for that challenge. I think I almost got too worked up for it. You know, I was like, I'm going to make 40K in 2 months. I'm going to make 40K in 2 months. And I'm only going to start with a 2K bankroll, right? So to get over the hump early, I knew I was going to have to play all of the like $11.5 and $11 tournaments and $22 tournaments I could find everywhere, you know, so I was just going nuts trying to play everything at the start to try and build the bankroll. Because I wasn't obviously just going to jump in, like invest like large portions of my roll. There were certain rules where I was allowed to take a shot here and there, but it couldn't be, you know, a large portion of my bankroll. I think I was allowed to like once or twice a week. I was allowed to use like one tournament that I thought was good value for like 5% of my roll or something. But most of the time I was only registering for like 1 and 2% of my roll for the tournaments. But I got burnt out, and it shows in my play. Like I watched some of some of it later, and I thought there was a lot of questionable decisions, you know. Not so much questionable decisions, just more like spots missed, you know, or like value missed. I think the big one was probably value missed. You know, there was a lot of times when I had value bets, like the aces before top left, if you remember that hand. You know, I was feeling pretty zoned in. I'm pretty sure he's got a lot of Queen X in his range and he's not folding. He might hero with some 9X. The king on the river made it kind of look like, you know, we could be bluffing. I felt like he was going to hero. And I just bet and called. We got max value and played the hand. I thought, well, it's going to be tough on the river there. Sometimes he's going to jam on us and we're going to be in a really tough spot and we're probably going to fold because you're going to have 10 jack, which was the nuts, and 2 pairs and some slow plays, and probably going to bet fold, which is, it's the hardest decision to make is on the river when you get raised. It's always the hardest part of the game. And especially when you're betting kind of thin for value and then someone raises, that's always like pretty much the toughest spot you can put yourself in. But as bad as I've been running the last 2 weeks, I've been putting myself in that position a lot lately, and it's been working out. I feel like I've been making pretty good decisions for the most part. But during that series, the 2-month 40K challenge, I started getting really burnt out and not thinking, just not playing my best, you know, and just missing value. And just, yeah, that's just the main thing, I think, just missing value in spots like that, like just going for the easy option and check. It was also the first time that I'd done like serious stints. Like I've done a little bit of streaming here and there, and I've done a lot of video making, but it was also the first time like I've done like just tons of video, and also the first time I've done a challenge. So I think also I was perhaps a little bit gun shy as well. Perhaps, I'm not sure if that's true, but for whatever reason, I mean, mostly just from being tired, but for whatever reason, I think I was just taking the easy spots a lot. And so I would say probably not watch it. I mean, it's still good to watch, but like I'd watch other stuff first, you know. I'd definitely watch other stuff first. Because there's like I think there's almost 400 videos on this channel now, so I'd probably watch something else first. I'd probably start watching from like, I'm just trying to think. Really, sir? Well, that is probably the nut worst card, other than the 6. I think I'm just going to fold now. I could see myself heroing here. Like, not on a 3, but like on a brick. Like, it becomes like jack and he bets. And then river another jack and he bets. Like, I could see me just like heroing down with like king high. Just thinking he has like Too many 2, 3, 3, 6, 6, 7, and 7, 8s in his range. And if he bets turn and river, like, I doubt he's going for value with, like, you know, a small pair. So it looks like trips or nothing. And he is big blind, so he can have all sorts of combos. And we have aces in the PKO. Come on, baby. And there is a raise. Yeah, so just continuing on with what I was saying before, I'd probably like start watching maybe the streams are just after, a bit after the 40k challenge. Once I sort of recovered. I think ripping here is pretty good. They all cover us, so I think 3-betting to like 1900 is like pretty much announcing that we have the nuts. This guy's called. He wants a knockout. King 10, he really wants a knockout. 4. All right, 10 is okay. King 10 off, that's when you know the guy really wants a knockout. When he calls M10 he calls early position open and then an M10 whack with King 10 off. He's for quite kind. Where's he from? UK. Makes sense, you know. A lot of kind people in the UK, I think. A lot of giving going on, especially at Christmas time. It's not Christmas just yet, but it may as well be. Go for the 3-bet here. Yeah. Pretty standard King 5 there for me. I like to 3-bet a lot of those hands. A lot of the King X's. In position. Guy looks like he's stealing. Pretty standard stuff. And 7-10 off. This guy's bet pretty big. I think I'm going to raise it anyway. This raise has to work about half the time. And I think it's close. It does work, so it's good. The other thing is too, you know, if he just calls, I mean, it doesn't actually have to work half the time because if he just calls, you know, sometimes we're going to hit a 10 and it's going to be good, or we're going to pick up a backdoor straight. If he does call and we pick up a draw, I was just thinking here. Can we bet this? We probably can. Probably should have ripped this against Tonaldino, actually. King 3 off. Yeah, I would have semi-bluffed on a lot of cards. Not a lot of cards, but some cards I might have with a 10, 7, 10. Like a queen or jack I might have bet again on with the gut shot. Well, this is a pretty messed up hand. I should have ripped this pre-flop. This guy's been limping too much. King 3 is a pretty easy jam, in my opinion, against a guy limping tons. At this stack depth. Having said that, I mean, I imagine he's pretty balanced. I have no idea what's going on over here. I'm just going to call because we have trips, but it's probably loose, but it's a rebuy, so I'm like, you could have 6x. King 3 on the flop against his limping range is going to be good a lot. We're in position. A 3 on the turn. Yeah, I mean, it's probably going to be good. A lot. He's going to probably be betting like Jack 8 with a Jack of Hearts. The question is do we shove? Do we shove here? I think it's just a call, to be honest. Oh my god. Yeah, I don't think he calls a shove. I think he folds, but like he could level himself into a call somehow. I was just saying he could limp with a hand, eh? And I was just saying I probably should have shoved it pre. That's so sick. I was just saying how I think he's balanced, so he can have, he's limping his range, you know, he can have anything, could have aces. But he's limping, you got to remember in that spot, there's way more trashy hands than good hands, you know, there's just the nature of the game. There's going to be way more trashy hands. So it's just unlucky when he has that hand. But I think the best play is probably to jam the king 3. Have that as part of your jams. Just take another peek at it. Oh, actually, we're a little bit deeper than I thought. We're actually M11, so it's too deep to jam. We're M11. We've got like 25 bigs, so it's too deep. I thought we were closer to like 15 bigs. 16 bigs. I think this hand's good to just jam over a limp, but yeah, not at this stack depth. So I think we played it fine. I wouldn't have jammed it. Even if I thought even if at the time I thought I should jam this, I would have looked at the stack sizes and gone, oh no, wait, we're too deep. We have to just check. Or we could bluff it and 3x, but I think king high is good enough to, you know, like we were talking about earlier, it's pretty good just to, I mean, it's a pretty good check hand. It's like 9-10 suited, king X. They're hands that are play, well, 9-10s, they're different types of hands. King X has got pretty good raw equity. Doesn't flop great, but it's just the best hand a lot. And 9-10 is like just very, you know, playable. So both hands play okay in position. So if I was gonna jam at that stack depth, I wouldn't have any bluff jams. It doesn't seem, I mean, talking about 3x ISOs, I'd probably only use like trash, like real trash, like 9-2 off, or like 4-5. And then obviously the other 3x's are all like king queen, ace 10, ace king, jacks, whatever. Break time, guys. Oh, we pick up an up and down here. That could be good enough for a little stab. Who has a jack? Do you have a jack, sir? I don't think so. Okay. Excelente. What I might just do, guys, is I'm going to just stop the stream just to break it up into pieces because it's been going for over 2 hours, 2 hours 20. But I think you just go back to the homepage and it'll say like streaming now live. I'm sure you guys can find it. Yeah, I'm just going to stop the stream and then restart it after the break. Thanks for tuning in. This has been Aces Up for PokerNerve.